Tonight with some breaking sports news. Morocco have been declared champions of the Africa Cup of Nations following a stunning decision by appeals judges at African football's governing body who've overturned the Senegalese victory. To find out why, we're joined by our sports editor here at France 24, James Vasina. James, a stunning move, as we say. Talk us through what exactly has happened. What have the appeals judges decided?
Stunning, really, is it? I mean, here we are on the 17th of March, and with this decision coming through 2 months later after the final was played out and won by Senegal. Senegal beating Morocco 1-0 after one of the most dramatic games of football that you'll ever seen. We talked about so much drama in it, and we can go and talk about it again, but just to give you the latest of what's happened, there's been more drama added to that in the sense that Senegal have seen their title taken away from them by the CAFs, so the African Football's Confederation's boards, by their appeals boards, taken away from them and handed then now to Morocco. A decision coming, as I mentioned, 2 months pretty much to the day after that happens. The final happens on the 18th of January. Here we are there, and this coming through at this point. There's been several appeals being made from Morocco, and there's been decisions being taken place, happening over the last few months. But this decision coming here like this, and again, I've shown it to you, but this is the statement that's come through on a few that we received almost an hour ago, and it's all that we've had from CAF. No other words than this statement coming through to tell us that their decision has been to turn around the results of that. So it's based on 2 articles from their regulations, from the tournament's regulations. Article 82 being that if you leave the pitch, then you lose the game, and Article 84 that if you don't follow Article 82, then you lose 3-0. 3-0 is often the score that's given in situations like this when a game can't finish in normal circumstances, let's say. The game did finish on the day, but this stands now as the results that comes through of Senegal being then stripped of their title. Morocco become, sounds strange to say, but winners, African winners, for the first time since 1976. That was the last time they won. I don't know what the emotion is going to be like. We'll have to hear from people back over in Morocco to know how that feels at this point. But there's going to be heartache for, as you can see there, the Senegalese team. I mean, these are images from the final. It's all going to be reversed now, and Senegal, I think, are going to be lost for words as to understand what happens, because there's been decisions happening, as I mentioned, over the last few months. There's one of the decisions, CAF's disciplinary boards, that decision on their side being set aside. So this comes and overrules all of this. And the decision is then, in this case, that Senegal have taken it. Another freak turnaround to what was one of the most uncomprehensible finals of them all, Sharon.
James, has there ever been anything like this in football before? And is it something that Morocco fans would have been hoping for? Or will this come as a complete shock to people there that they've actually won this tournament now?
I can't remember seeing anything like this at this point. For Morocco fans, I mean, anyone's going to be happy, but I mean, it's going to be a strange feeling. I mean, certainly. I mean, there was a feeling of, from many of injustice in the way that things happen. The feeling of injustice on both sides, have to remind that, of fans, whether it was Senegalese or the Moroccans, just to put things into context. It was, all this happens because the Senegalese are judged, and they did, for some of the players, leave the field of play to protest against a very, very late decision, with the penalty being given to Morocco in the final minutes. And players encouraged by their coach to leave the field. Not all players did, but that happening, that being the ruling that comes through today as the reason as to why. But yes, Moroccan fans, I know that are going to be happy. I don't know what kind of happiness you can really express 2 months later, if there's some kind of aftershock or something. Feels a lot like some kind of very, very, very late VAR decision coming in tonight in a way.
2 months late. James, let's bring in sports consultant Karim Baldé. He can join us live now as well. Karim, you actually covered the tournament for us here at France 24. This news just coming into us, as James says, within the last hour or so. What do you make of this decision?
I'm shocked. To be honest with you, I'm shocked. And we are all shocked, no matter whether we are African football fans, or football observers, because I talked to some of my fellows tonight after that incredible decision, and we're all like, how is it possible to make that huge change between what the disciplinary jury said in early February and tonight's decision. That's why we were shocked, because we could imagine that some of the sanctions against Senegal or Morocco could be lowered down. That would be a possibility, but to see a change in the result of the final 2 months after that final, and I was with you at France 24, and I was as well in Morocco for the final. I was at the stadium, and we witnessed so many strange things and so many unnecessary things as well. Some incidents, obviously, with supporters. The towel gate with Yevandu, for example, Senegal's third goalkeeper. But we thought that after the first appeal of Morocco, that would be over. And I couldn't imagine to be here with you like 2 months later saying, well, finally, there's a change in the result. And that's a huge discredit on the Confederation of African Football, because we all know, we know it because we follow them for years now, for a decade on my side. And the common point is that we know that they don't manage to find good solutions when huge crises happen. And we saw that they reacted very lately after the final in Morocco, and now we are 2 months later, so it's way too late to say that finally the Atlas Lions have won this competition, but they did. So that's why we're all shocked tonight.
Yeah, as Karim says there, I mean, it's a huge shock, and it's the credibility, of course, of the tournaments and organisers, and as Karim mentions, from CAF for such a kind of a decision to come in so late. And we talked about the chaos on the night. Karim mentions just a couple of the incidents that happened there. Chaos in terms of just, keeping everything going. Again, there was a 15-minute delay plus with Senegalese players leaving. There was the towel gate, indeed. Players from Morocco taking towels from the Senegalese goalkeeper. And everything happening around the pitch, things that we didn't necessarily on our side see on the television screens, but people in the stadium like Karim would have seen happening at the moment, and all that happening whilst the game was taking place. You had a penalty being taken, a penalty that famously from Brahim Diaz ended in Edouard Mendy's hands. That happening while there was chaos and fans trying to invade at the other side of the pitch. And all of this was discrediting the image for African football, things that a tournament that went largely very well in terms of organisation up until the few days before the final. But this is just another blow that's going to discredit and something that you don't want to see. And the question is, what we want right now, we don't just want, this statement coming through. We want to hear from the presidents themselves. We want to hear from CAF members themselves. And, we want a Q&A to understand what has actually been going on behind the scenes, because until we get that, there's going to be all these suspicions. They need to clear it up, whether they're going to come in front and speak, but we need to get answers from those in charge to get a clear idea of, just what has been going on for for this to come through.
Nearly 2 months, as you're saying. We don't have any reaction or any further information coming into us through any of the news agencies, James, as of yet. Do you think this is the end of the road? Is Senegal likely to come back and try to get this overturned, or is that even possible at this stage?
I mean, you would, seeing the decision here, it looks as though this is going to be the final decision. Whether there's an appeals that can come through, that possibly could be, but this looks definitive. I mean, there was, research happening through, there was, all of this happening over the last few months, and this appears to be the final decision taken here. So Senegal is probably going to, they're in their right to protest the decision. There's a freak decision coming through so late. But at this point, I can imagine there's going to be, disappointments in the fans that you can see there. I don't know how they're going to react. I don't know if, Karim, perhaps you've got an idea of how some fans are going to be reacting to this. I mean, as Sharon asked me just a few minutes ago, hard to put yourself in people's shoes, but what would perhaps be your take on that?
Well, we saw some first reactions from players, and one of them is Moussa Niakhaté, Senegalese defender. He posted a story on Instagram saying, "What? They're crazy! They had to come to take us back, to take us a trophy." So, with a picture of him holding that trophy from 2 months ago. So, this is a first sight of reactions from Senegalese players, and we'll see maybe some of them in the next hours or in the next days. And we have to remember as well, in terms of Canada, that later this month, I think that it's going to be on March the 28th, there will be a friendly game between Senegal and Peru, and that was the game targeted by the Senegalese FA to celebrate that trophy, and that game would happen at the famous Stade de France in Saint-Denis in front of many people from Senegalese diaspora from across Europe, and then they planned to celebrate the trophy versus Gambia in Diamniadio, so in the Dakar suburbs, on March the 31st. So it means that all this Canada now could be set aside, waiting for some contest from the Senegalese FA, because they could go up to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which is located in Switzerland, and that could be the final step. So that could be a possibility, because we all know that it's not going to be the final line, the final point of that incredible story we follow for some minutes now, but since the final of AFCON on January the 18th. So yeah, I think there will be plenty to talk about in the next days, and we'll see the reaction from the Senegalese FA, because there are other topics as well, such as Senegal supporters still held in Moroccan prisons, for example, since the final. So many topics, so many hot topics going on right now, and we are eager to see what will be the next step in that incredible story.
Yeah, and as Karim mentions there, I mean, what are they going to do? Go and physically get the trophy from them and hand it to Morocco? Is there going to be celebrations on Morocco's side organised for all of this? It's all so new. This happens. We got this statement come through about an hour ago now, so it's so fresh, and indeed we're going to have to just see how everything develops from here on.
It's going to be a very awkward handover, however it is they go about doing it. James, thanks so much for being with us and for taking us through all of that. That's our sports editor, James Vasina, here in studio, and also Karim Baldé, sports consultant and journalist. Thanks so much for being with us also on the programme.